Hi again, everybody. Bill Phillips here on a Tuesday morning in the Ohio Valley, a little rainy Tuesday morning, which is very, very nice because we needed some rain. Everything was parched, everything was dry. But a rainy day today and a beautiful day, though, as we continue on through our week, a Tuesday. And, the weekend already looking nice in the windshield as it gets closer and closer. So hopefully you're off to a great start this week, and we are ready to say hello to Valley Converting, T-Town, Toronto, Ohio, the gem city of Toronto, Ohio. They do a great job. Paper products, anything you need to be recycled that are paper products, they can take care of you. You want to keep it confidential. Maybe you're worried about someone seeing some confidential paperwork. Don't worry about it. They'll take care of it. Mike Biasi and the crew in Toronto, Ohio, doing a great job with the 9-Minute Phill-Up, as well as recycling.
Every piece of paper has a story. What if that story didn't end when you were done with it?
At Valley Converting, we turn your old paper products into recycled paperboard, continuing the story.
Locally owned and operated in Toronto, Ohio, bringing your paper to Valley Converting isn't just about recycling.
It's about supporting a cleaner, greener future for all of us.
We are here 5 days a week to help you make some green by going green.
And remember,
recycle for your future.
And we are back. Thank you to Mike Biasi and the crew at Valley Converting for all that they do. And we can't thank you enough as we get ready for another big week of sports, of news, all kinds of stuff going on. And of course, we have it for you on the stations of WTOV9. One of the things we need to talk about, kind of wrap up the third week of the National Football League season. Producer extraordinaire Jordan, not here right now. And she's a little disappointed in herself. She thought she was going to do better on the parlay of the week. First week, perfect. Got them all right. Second week, I think she missed one, maybe two. This week, not so good. Not so good. She got the Bills right against the Dolphins. She got the Steelers right. She got the Browns wrong. She got the Bengals wrong. Let's see who else. She got the Chiefs right against the Giants. And then last night, she got the Lions wrong. SMC, if I recall, SMC went with the Lions, and they were kind of in lockstep through their games. But then that last one, SMC went with the Lions over the Ravens instead of the other way around. And it was the Lions winning in a wild game. The final score, 38-31. And I know it's early. And they were 1-2, but the Ravens are 1-2 standings now in the National Football League after 3 weeks of the season. You take a look at the AFC North, and it looks a little odd, but I think a lot of people in the Western Pennsylvania, Ohio area, pleased. The Browns would like to have 2 wins, and they should have 2 wins. They could have beaten the Bengals in the first week, but it's Cincinnati with no Joe Burrow. So if you're a divisional opponent, is Cincinnati going to struggle as much as they did this past week? And they were absolutely throttled by Minnesota without Joe Burrow. They're 2-1 in first place, technically, along with the Pittsburgh Steelers at 2-1. And the Steelers get a win in Foxborough against New England. And then Baltimore 1-2, Cleveland 1-2. So what does that all say? I don't think too much right now. I think we're still figuring out what teams are good, what teams have issues. I think the Steelers have issues. I think everybody in the AFC North has issues. And, of course, that's where a lot of the people from the Ohio Valley have their teams, Browns and Steelers. But, the Browns, they're all flawed teams. Every National Football League team is flawed. But, Cincinnati doesn't have a quarterback right now. The Steelers defense, they played well against New England, but you still have question marks. And then the offense, is there enough of it? Baltimore, Derrick Henry can't seem to hold on to the football. That's a mystery. And in Cleveland, you just want to see them get out of their own way. So it's just kind of an interesting situation with the AFC North right now. And then, who's the best team? What do you think the best team is? Take a look at the conference standings. Pick your best team. The Chargers of Los Angeles, 3-0. Indianapolis, 3-0. Buffalo, 3-0. I guarantee you the only team that would be selected by most people before the season started to be 3-0 after 3 weeks and near the top of the conference would be the Buffalo Bills. Listen to this. The top 6 of the list: Chargers, Colts, Bills, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville. Bottom of the list, Kansas City. A lot of people like Houston the last couple of years. They're not doing anything. So Baltimore's 7th. So it's just an interesting list. And then San Francisco, even without Brock Purdy, 3-0. Philadelphia 3-0. Tampa Bay 3-0. Green Bay 2-1. Arizona a bit of a surprise. Minnesota a bit of a surprise at 2-1, but now they don't have a quarterback for at least a few weeks. Seattle 2-1. Detroit 2-1. Washington 2-1. And the Rams 2-1. And the Rams blew a game to the Eagles. They should have won this weekend. Bottom of the pack, New York Giants, New Orleans, Dallas, Chicago. I thought Chicago looked pretty good, but that's against the Cowboys. The Cowboys, not necessarily a very good football team. Carolina, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, New Orleans, and the Giants. No surprises there. Everybody else is 2-1 or 3-0 in the National Football Conference. So they have some solid teams there. And then I think one of the biggest surprises, if not the biggest, not necessarily the Chargers, but the Indianapolis Colts. Did anyone see the Colts coming? Did anyone see the Colts coming? I don't think so. Daniel Jones basically run out of town in New York, and he's 3-0 with the Colts. It's a little bit crazy. Joe Boston checking in. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning indeed. Hopefully everybody's off to a good start. Hopefully your day's off to a good start, Joe. Appreciate you checking in. And it's one of those interesting things. Indianapolis, Daniel Jones. He wasn't even supposed to be the starter. The front office blew it with the Giants when they got rid of Saquon Barkley, and they kept Daniel Jones, and then he didn't play well, and then they had to get rid of him anyways, and they really messed that up. And they're still paying for it. But Daniel Jones, the new signs of life in Indianapolis. Just let's take a look at these numbers, because they've put up some numbers. And, and now they played Tennessee. Tennessee is 0-3. Jonathan Taylor, they've got their running back going again, the running game. At what did he have last week? 3 touchdowns last week. Where's the box score for this thing? Daniel Jones, 18-25, 1 touchdown. Very efficient. Jonathan Taylor, 102 yards. That's a nice box score, because that's what you want to see. That's really what you want to see when you're looking at some balance, especially when you're trying to not put a quarterback in a bad situation. And then they get a win over the Colts. Let's see what he did here. 316 yards, 23 of 34, 1 touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, 165 yards rushing. Again, balance. It's balance, and they're playing good defense. And then they throttled the Dolphins to start the season. And, what's going on with the Dolphins? You just don't know. And then Jonathan Taylor, 71 yards, first game. Daniel Jones, 22, 29, 1 touchdown. And he was left on the side of the road. Left on the side of the road. You just don't know what's going to happen year in, year out. The only people that apparently do, Las Vegas, in terms of their point spreads and everything else, because they can figure out how they're going to get your money. Speaking of getting your money, do you like to put a wager on it? I mean, everybody can bet now on their phone. Everybody can do FanDuel. Everybody can, make a pick. Do you throw $2 on a bet? Do you throw $10? Do you like the availability of that? Do you like to have fun with that? Some people enjoyed the horse racing during the Triple Crown season. They enjoyed, getting on there and, making a couple wagers and see what the ponies were going to do. But does that bring any more enjoyment to you when you're watching the game? Right now, if you're rolling with the Colts, why not? Why not? So it's one of those things where it's just an interesting start to the National Football League season. You get some teams that you didn't expect to see, and you have some other teams that, well, you did. And before we leave you today, let's talk about this. I had some people wondering about the rankings. What Brian's checking in. Brian, what's going on? Let's see what Brian has. It's a shame we can't see the greatness of Joe Burrow more because he's always hurt. They need an offensive line that can protect him. They've never had that in Cincinnati. What a shame. Absolutely. But, he hasn't made, last year he got through the majority of the season, stayed healthy, and put up an MVP season. They didn't get to the playoffs. The defense was so bad. And he really was. He was the MVP of the league. I mean, Josh Allen, they went to the playoffs and everything, but Joe Burrow was absolutely sensational. I feel bad for him because he got off to a good start this year. They were so focused on trying to get to a good start so they didn't have to dig out of a hole like they have every other year. So maybe this year he's hurt now, but he could be out 3 months. And turf toe is no joke. It is a tough injury that you basically you can't grip the ground when you're running, and it's painful, and it has to do with I think it's a ligament underneath your big toe, and basically you can't grab. It's very painful. So it's one of those things where I don't know if that's the offensive line. He just he got hit, went down funny. I'm not sure how that actually happens. Where that if you have if that ligament or tendon is torn or really in bad condition, you can't walk, you can't run, you can't do anything. So it's a shame that he's not there because he is fun to watch, especially with those wide receivers. But maybe, just maybe, Cincinnati can stay in contention. And if he can come back in those 3 months, maybe at the end of the year, he can help make a playoff run. We'll have to wait and see. But if he's going to be out for an extended period of time, it could be a long season again for Cincinnati. But an interesting start to the season for Cincinnati. Right now, 2-1. Now, let's see. Ryan again. Want to see him do good because he's local. Absolutely. And he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I watched, what is it, the QB1 show. I think Peyton Manning produces it. They had it one year, and it was Patrick Mahomes and Kirk Cousins and Mariota. And then this past year, Joe Burrow was in it. And the thing that I and the Kirk Cousins was in it again. And who was the third one? Can't think of who the other quarterback was. They usually do 3, and they follow them all the way through their season. But Burrow, you see how hard they work. You see the extra work that they put in. And like Patrick Mahomes, I knew he was a great quarterback, but then you watch it and you go, man, does he put in a lot of extra work? He's doing all the things he needs to do. This is a good guy. Well, the great thing about Joe Burrow, he's a good dude. He knows where he came from. He's out in Athens, Ohio. And, it's a tough times economically out there and food-wise. And one of the things he did when, the Heisman Trophy and then the getting drafted, the one thing he didn't forget was, I need to take care of my people. And, he made sure that the food pantries were full. And it's just, he's a good guy, talented guy. Some people think he's cocky. Some people just say he has swag, he has confidence. He's definitely confident. He's definitely someone that's comfortable in his own skin. And it's good to see that. You never hear about him being in trouble or anything like that. So yeah, it's a shame because he is a super talented guy. But we have plenty of guys like that in the National Football League history that were just they got dinged up, couldn't stay healthy, so to speak. And it's nothing that he's doing. He's doing everything he can to stay healthy and stay on the field. One year, the offensive lineman, defensive lineman falls into his knee. The turf toe situation. I mean, you can't really protect against. You can't. I don't know how you're doing exercises to protect that ligament at the bottom of your foot, but it's a shame because I enjoy watching him play. I think most people enjoy watching. You get a matchup of Joe Burrow and Allen, or Joe Burrow and Mahomes, or Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, just sensational talent, or Hurts in Philadelphia, or I'll tell you what, was Caleb Williams in Chicago. He looked pretty good. This past weekend, I thought, he's showing some growth. So there's a lot, and now Daniel Jones. It's just amazing. And then if you get a guy that gets put in the right situation, it can change everything. Sam Darnold, starter for Seattle with the Jets after he got drafted in the first round, couldn't get anything done. Starts bouncing around a little bit, lands in Minnesota. Gets it together. The system they have in Minnesota, it's quarterback friendly. Everybody seems to have success, and they build their confidence, and then all of a sudden, he's in Seattle. He started playing well. I mean, he's doing okay, and he's got that confidence. And one of the things, I had the opportunity to cover the Steelers on a day-to-day basis. Bill Cowher, the Steelers head coach at the time, used to talk about confidence with players. And you would think they're all going to be super confident. They're going to be confident all the time. It's not the case. He said it can be very fragile at times, and it can be the difference between wins and losses and the whole thing. So, Daniel Jones goes to Indianapolis. All of a sudden, they're putting up numbers and winning games. He's got that confidence. You look at him and go, this guy's a pretty good quarterback. Well, two years ago, last year before that, this guy's awful. He should be out of the league. How could they have taken him in the first round? Well, now you're seeing why they could have taken him in the first round. Check back in with Brian. He gave a few $1 million to food banks in Athens. Absolutely did. He absolutely did. Class act indeed. And it's, he has been fortunate. He comes from a family of means, and then had an opportunity to go and play at Ohio State, then LSU. Puts in all the work, does a great job, wins the Heisman Trophy, national championship. And then he gives back to his community when he's in a position to give back to the community. He asks others, hey, if you've got a few dollars, donate if you can, help out. So it's good stuff. It really is. It really is. He hasn't forgot where. That's right. Absolutely. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And like you said, people say, well, that's Joe Burrow. He has all kinds of money. Yeah, he's got a lot of money. He doesn't have to donate it. And the thing is, I don't have as much money as Joe Burrow. I don't have much money as a lot of people. If you can, when you can, because sometimes you just can't. You don't have the money to, you have kids and you're trying to make everything work. You don't have money, you don't make a donation. But when you can, if you can, hey, I got $20. I can kick in. And that's going to help someone. It's going to help somebody a lot. It's going to help somebody a lot because, you give, maybe, let's say you take the Salvation Army United Way. They get the money to the people that know how to spend the money, and they can get more out of the money. So if I take $20 to the store to help with the food pantry, and I say, here's $20, and I go buy what I would normally buy for $20 and donate it, that's great. But if you give that same $20 to someone that does that professionally and make sure that they stretch that as far as they can, they're going to get a lot more out of it. But no, Joe Burrow hasn't forgotten where he's come from. It's a shame that he's injured right now. Hopefully he'll be able to come back and play this year. And now, Brian, I was going to mention your Ohio State Buckeyes. They play again this weekend. I think they were off last weekend. Weren't they on a bye? So they're number one. Does everybody agree with these rankings? Ohio State number one. Miami moved up from number 4 to number 2. Penn State dropped. I didn't play. LSU moved up, or LSU actually moved down. Georgia stayed the same at 5. Then it's Oregon, Oklahoma, Florida State, Texas A&M. Texas is the top 10. And I'm not sure Texas has beaten anybody yet. Illinois just throttled by Indiana. They dropped 14 spots to 23. And BYU, I don't think they've given up a touchdown yet, but they're 25th. Let's see. I don't. It's an interesting list. Indiana's at number 11, up a couple of spots. But Penn State, I had someone talking to me about Penn State's not fair. They dropped in the rankings. They dropped a spot. They didn't play. These rankings don't mean anything yet. They don't mean anything. Let's see. Maybe your daughter could get you a jersey in Athens. Oh yeah, I got a Bobcats baseball hat, and then I like bucket hats to wear at the beach and stuff like that. If I'm going to the beach or if I'm cutting the grass, I'm going to be in the sun. She got me an OU bucket hat, and so it's been fun. She's had a great time out there, and she gets ready to graduate in December. I can't believe it's already upon us, but she's done really, really well. So I'm really excited for her. Teaching major, so looking forward to see what she achieves, but doing really well and seemingly enjoys it all the time. Miami number 2. Miami's number 2. I enjoy it. It's they do look good. Defense looks really good. My biggest question mark is Carson Beck. He's a good quarterback. I'm not convinced he's a let's see, national championship quarterback. I don't know. Can he get Miami to that point? They had a lot of tough games left. They've got a week off now after the Florida game, and they play Florida State next week. They're the number 8 team in the country. People are surprised by that. Never be surprised. Oh, well, Florida State, well, they were terrible. Well, Florida State's a good program. They're going to come back every year. They have a down year. They're going to bounce back right away. So they're a good team. Played Notre Dame, played Florida, but that's a big stretch in your first 5 games. So, they're doing well. I'm not going to get overexcited about it because it's early and you still have a lot of football to play and anything can happen. And I'm much happier being at 4-0 than I would be if you're Notre Dame. You're 1-2. If you don't run the table impressively, you don't have a shot. With 2 losses, there's going to be I don't know how many teams are going to work out, but you're really in trouble because you have no margin for error. So, and you might already be out. So it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds. But we will. What's wrong with Clemson? They don't know how to win right now. They do not know how to win right now. They're playing not to lose. It seems like, if you know what I mean. It's they've got the talent. They've got guys, but they're a little shell shocked. And now instead of playing to win and just being, playing free and easy, they're getting in some games. They're not closing things out, maybe like they did a few years ago. So maybe they're playing a little bit not to lose rather than to win. And, I know some people might say that doesn't make any sense. Well, it does, because if you're not playing loose and it can, if you get tightened up, all of a sudden, maybe you give up a play on 3rd and 15, you give up 14 yards. Well, that sets the other team up for a field goal. When you had the guy dead to rights in the backfield and you should have made the play, but instead he gets loose and sets up a game-winning field goal. So, Clemson, I don't know. And it seems like Dabo Sweeney, the head coach, he's getting a little irritated with everybody. The media room, hey, if you want me out of there, my thought is this. He ends up being the Alabama head coach at some point. Played there. Believe was on a national championship team. He's proven he can coach at big time level, win national championships. He's an alum of Alabama. Not sure they're really thrilled with the coach they have at Alabama right now. Maybe it's just something, just throwing it out there. I don't know. But that might be an interesting thing to keep an eye on. But another weekend of college football, another weekend of NFL football is coming. We're going to have some fun with it. Great having an opportunity to talk with you guys today. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate Valley Converting and all that they do for the 9-Minute Phill-Up. And tomorrow we will be back. We have some special guests tomorrow. So please tune in if you can. Right now, we've got to say so long. Brian, thank you so much. Remember the 2 rules, everybody. Have fun and always try your best. Have a great day.